There's a candle on my desk that I light every single morning. And if you've ever lost someone you love, you already know exactly why. It's not a grand gesture, it's barely 2 minutes of my day, but somehow it's become the thing that holds me together. It started about 6 months after I lost my dad, when the grief stopped feeling sharp and started feeling like this hollow background noise I couldn't locate. I remember reading somewhere that rituals don't bring people back, but they do give grief somewhere to live, and that sentence cracked something open in me. So I tried something small, a white candle, a single flower from whatever's blooming outside, and one handwritten note, one sentence, sometimes just a word. That's it. That's the whole ritual. And I know how absurd it sounds when I say it out loud like that. The first morning I did it, I wrote, "I missed your laugh," on a sticky note, and then stood there feeling like an idiot in my kitchen at 6:45 in the morning. But here's the wild part I also felt. For the first time in months, like he was somehow accounted for in my day. Grief researchers, yes, that's a real field. And yes, we apparently need an entire field dedicated to studying sadness. Talk about something called continuing bonds theory. It's the idea that maintaining a symbolic connection to someone who's died isn't unhealthy denial. It's actually one of the most functional things you can do. So lighting that candle isn't me refusing to move on, it's me choosing deliberately to carry him forward with me. There's a huge difference between being haunted by someone and being accompanied by them. The flower changes with the season. Sometimes it's a grocery store carnation for 89 cents. Sometimes it's a weed I yanked from the sidewalk on my morning walk. My dad would have absolutely roasted me for putting a dandelion in a little glass of water and calling it a memorial, and that makes me smile every single time. The note is the part that surprised me most, because I thought I'd run out of things to say within a week. Turns out grief is extraordinarily verbose, and apparently I have a lot of unfinished business with a man who's been gone for 2 years. Some mornings I write practical things like, "I finally fixed the thing in the sink you always said I should fix." Other mornings, it's heavier one sentence that I could never have said out loud while he was alive, now finally said into a sticky note, into the air. The psychological term for what this does is grief integration, which sounds clinical and cold for something that feels this quietly profound. What it actually means is that the loss becomes part of your story rather than a wall that stops your story, and that distinction is everything. I won't pretend every morning feels meaningful. Some days I light the candle, scribble something half asleep, and immediately spill coffee on myself, which would also have amused my dad enormously. The ritual doesn't demand that you feel something, it just holds the space open in case you do. That's the misconception I want to address head on. People assume that rituals like this are for people who are deep in grief, theatrical about their pain, unable to function. But the people I've talked to who do something like this are some of the most functional, clear-eyed, emotionally grounded people I know. It's not about performance or prolonging sorrow, it's about the same logic that makes you brush your teeth even on days you don't feel like it. Consistency in small acts creates a kind of emotional hygiene that protects you when the bigger waves hit. If you want to try this and you're not sure where to start, the only rule is that it has to be simple enough to do on your worst day. If your ritual requires you to feel inspired, it will fail you exactly when you need it most. Start with one thing, a candle, a photo, a song, a single sentence in a notebook. Let it be imperfect and half asleep and sometimes tearful and sometimes funny, because that's what love actually looks like over time. What this ritual gives me emotionally is harder to quantify than I expected. It's not closure, which I've come to believe is largely a myth. We sell grieving people to make them easier to be around. It's more like a daily acknowledgement that this person existed, mattered, and still shapes the person I'm becoming. And honestly, I've made peace with the fact that I might do this for the rest of my life, and I find that more comforting than alarming. Discipline, consistency, and the smallest possible gesture, it turns out those aren't just investing principles, they're grief principles too. If this resonated with you, subscribe and check out all our other topics we cover, everything that sits right at the edge of what's hard to talk about.